Yeah, sure. I mean, if you spend all day shuffling words around, you can make anything sound bad, Morty. Here, check this out.
Mad villainous, Brillo pad goatee. I'm feeling mad ill on this. Bring a bag of OG squad sharp like a Ginsu. We kick it like Shinobi. I ain't seen the world yet, but I'll fuck it like Shinomi, yeah. And we only getting greater, 'cause this is just a beta. And ain't nobody that can fade us. Cause motherfucker, we from East Las Vegas. We rode up to this shit with 100 sack. Each of some sticky ass trees and a sack of hash cheese. Split your team down the middle like a Pro Bowl running back. Last summer must have ran through 100 packs. Assalamu alaikum.
Hi everybody, welcome to the 36 Chamber podcast. My name is Alex.
My name is Gabe.
And this is our pilot episode. Hope you enjoy it.
All right. So, yeah, what do you think of the track?
I love the track, actually. I like the simplicity of it, and I really like the... I don't know if it's a horn, a trumpet, but that sound that raises and then goes back down.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. He made the beat, but I'd say like a trumpet or like a horn section.
Yeah,
something like that.
It sounds something like that.
So the name of the track is Beta, by the way.
Okay.
And it's on the Vegas Natives Back on Deck album. You can find it on Spotify. If you look up Gabe Thinkin', Gabe Thinkin', you can look for the Vegas Natives album, and it's titled Back on Deck, and that's track number 4. But yeah, I like the horns. Frankie made that whole track just with some 808s and random horns that he found on, I think he was using Fruity Loops or something.
Okay.
Brought it to me, and then he had that verse already ready to go. And then Kush put his verse on it, and I was like, this is just tight. It's a really cool track.
Yeah, Frankie has really come a long way, and I know you were telling me that this track is a little older, but wow, both of them from the first music to now, it's very different. And my microphone just fell a little bit, but we're moving on.
Tilted a little bit so that the microphone's directly over the leg. Let's look on the floor. Yeah, like right there.
Okay.
Nope. Tilt it back. I'll show you. Sorry, I'll cut this all out. Yeah, so the balance is better. There you go. It'll stay perfect now. My bad, buddy.
Oh, it's okay.
All right, yeah. Back on deck.
Yeah, this is our first episode, and actually we recorded one episode about 2 weeks ago, and the amount of ums that I used in that episode, it's just crazy. So this is going to be our official first episode. We're just going to go ahead and talk about anything and everything. The foundation is going to be about hip-hop, but I mean, one thing that I wanted to talk about actually that I didn't mention is, did you watch Khabib versus Gaethje?
No, I don't even know what that is.
UFC.
Oh, no, no, I didn't see the fight, no.
Yeah, it's a really good fight. Khabib is great. But since you didn't watch it, we're going to go ahead and move on. And one thing I actually wanted to talk about is the anniversary of Nipsey Hussle's Crenshaw mixtape, which I brought up in the original episode that we recorded, but I wanted to bring it up again because October 8th was the anniversary of it, and I just really think that album was a landmark in Nipsey Hussle's career. I know that you really didn't listen to Nipsey Hussle,
not too much,
but I really was just floored when I listened to that album, especially when I told you that his marketing approach was selling it for $100, 1,000 of them for $100.
I think that's so tight. I still think that's crazy. How do you sell a mixtape for $100?
When it's free. It's free. You can download it for free, but people still decided to pay $100, which really says a lot to his devoted fan base and says a lot to his influence. Nipsey Hussle was not just a rapper, he was a philanthropist, and he even had before he passed away, he had a program called, I believe, I may be wrong, but it's called Vector 90, which was a program in his hometown where anybody could go there, and if they had a project that they wanted to work on anything, would be music, art, writing, photography, they could go there and work on that, and the program would help them probably by financing it, helping them find areas for them to go and do whatever they needed to do. And I think that was great. And it really goes to show you that his mind wasn't just about hip hop. I think he was using hip hop as a means to actually make a difference in his community.
Yeah.
And I really like Nipsey Hussle a lot, you know.
Do you think that's important? That's one thing that, I mean, I'm glad we segueing right into this out of nowhere, but did you ever see the Joe Budden, Lil Yachty back and forth interview? First of all, the whole interview, and then all the memes that came out about that.
I remember it, but I don't remember. I saw clips of it.
All right,
but
so
yes.
what I loved about it is because I think I'm kind of the part of the Joe Budden club is
I love Joe.
We're some old heads. We listen to old hip hop. We like that old 1994 lyrical stuff that evolved into the 1997 mentality and even got deeper. But then it just started to change in the 2000s where it really became more, not so much about lyrics. And that's where things became more business oriented. I think it kind of changed the image of what a good rapper was, you know?
Yeah.
And so Joe Budden brings that up to Lil Yachty in the interview, and he straight says, like, do you not feel like you need to give back to the culture that, like, got you up out of the dorms and took you out from eating ramen noodles? And he's like, you know, shouldn't you be giving back to that? And shouldn't you be, like, doing something to dedicate yourself to that culture? And at least understanding the history of where this shit came from. And Lil Yachty's just like, yo, chill. You know, and it's just kind of funny because it's like,
chill.
To me, it's like, you're right. Which one is more relevant? Which one's more important? Because, like, are we really trying to hold on to the principles of hip hop so much that you can't even step out of your comfort zone and have a collaborative or a creative career in some way? Do you have to be that way? What do you feel?
Well, I don't remember too much about the conversation that they had. The one thing I do want to say is that even though Joe felt that Yachty was probably not giving back or didn't feel like Yachty even thought about giving back.
Yeah, that was a big thing. He was wondering, are you being manipulated, you know?
I think that Yachty is subconsciously giving back by creating the music
that's a good
creating.
Point. Yeah, like it's in a spiritual aspect, not necessarily just
because
thinking about it.
Yeah. Because the people that we listen to, the rappers that we listen to, the artists that we listen to, I can almost guarantee that they weren't thinking about giving back to the community that they were.
Yeah.
I can almost see that none of the Wu-Tang members, and you know, I'm just assuming here if any of these artists so happen to hear me speak, I can almost see them only care about their raps and not care about the people prior to them. And I've even seen this debate go on in that time. The old heads from
and that's a good point. You brought up Wu-Tang, of course, which both you and I's like absolute favorite, but there's that very famous interview of Old Dirty Bastard where they're asking everybody different questions, and they get to Old Dirty Bastard and they say, what are you doing to give back to your community? And he just seriously looks right at the camera and says, nothing.
Exactly.
And it's like, I don't know, from where Wu-Tang stands, and this is coming from my Kung Fu background, and you probably know just from spirituality in general, when you're an individual, you don't really need to be put in a category where people ask you. And even Lizzo, do you know Lizzo? I brought her up before. She's a girl, the singer that's out, but she's actually a rapper too. But anyways, Lizzo, she mentions that recently they asked her something about being an activist, and she even says, I don't want to be an activist because I'm fat and black. You know, and it's like, because people categorize you, especially if you're an artist or a celebrity, and then on top of that, you're big, or you're black, or you're Hispanic, or you're Asian, or whatever you are, you have to speak amongst all your people. But it's like, who has to do that? Nobody has to do that. As an individual, you don't have to cling to any of that shit. And I think that's what Old Dirty Bastard is more about, is like, I don't got to do shit for anybody. I take care of who I want to, my family and my people, but...
And I think that it takes time for any artist to feel like the people that come after them would need to acknowledge the people that came before them. Because Lil Yachty is essentially giving back to his hip-hop community by furthering the music through the music that he creates and creating a fan base and bringing more ears to hip-hop. And
you don't think it's detrimental, like not being a lyricist or not caring about being more intelligent or caring about giving back in some way? Do you think that affects how hip-hop will be in the future, or does that even matter?
I think that it's ever-changing. I think that if we maintained the same perspective or kept the same sound that we kept in the past, then that would hold hip-hop back. I think that it should be free to move where it moves based on the times that the music is being created from. Because the people that created the original hip-hop in New York, I'm sure they didn't like, grave diggers.
That's a good point, yeah.
I'm sure they didn't like Insane Clown Posse, and that's a form of hip-hop.
It's funny, Old Dirty Bastard has a song with ICP, and I just think he has so many collaborations,
Yeah. Which is, it's funny because hip-hop, when hip-hop really, like you said, in the 2000s, it became more about the flashiness, about platinum chains and 20-inch rims. And a few years prior to that, it was about intellect, and it was, I could say, Gangstar had a really big influence on the perspective that people had at that time. Nas was really deep with his raps. Tupac was basically a poet who rapped, and it just penetrated.
Would you consider someone like Biggie to be lyrical, or do you feel like he's just a good freaking artist?
It's interesting. That's a very big debate, because the debate is who was a better rapper or who was just overall better, Tupac or Biggie. I'm leaning towards Biggie a little more, because I know that Tupac wrote a lot, so he had more time to basically go over his rap or his verse more. I've seen documentaries and I've seen videos where Biggie, everything is off the top of his head, and it's amazing. I think my opinion is that Biggie was a better MC. He was able.
And do you think like Tupac was a better writer?
Yeah, he was able to control the mic more. Biggie was. I think that because there's even a freestyle where they both sit down before they became before they had beef, and you could see the difference. Biggie was miles ahead of Tupac. That's my personal opinion, guys. Okay.
I mean, I just personally like him more. It's not about who's... to me, I can't compare them because... it's never about comparison. There's so many rappers. Like, whenever I get into a car, like, going to the demos or something like that, or just driving with some people randomly, and they'll say, hey, who do you think's top 5 MCs? And it's like, man, that list changes so much for me.
It does. There is no GOAT.
Because there's so many different reasons to why I choose an MC to be good. But that's maybe because I go too far into the language. It's like, it's not always about just the music to me. It's always about what you're saying, how you're saying it, the way you're saying it. And Biggie, even though he didn't say, like, things that had to do with positivity, the way he put it together was so lyrical.
Oh, he has so much charisma.
And, dude, the way he bounces it was like It's like fucking so
His
simple.
flow.
So simple, but it's like, why hasn't anyone else sounded like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like what Nas is, but Nas is like overly dope. I don't know. But anyways, I just wanted to, so we don't go too far, but I just want to bring up NWO. You said you want to bring it, you want to talk about it.
Yeah, one thing that I found really funny is that...
And just clarify, we're talking about NWO.
The New World Order from wrestling.
Okay. Just making sure we're talking about...
I just noticed how big hip-hop was becoming at that time in the 90s.
Yeah.
That
Oh, yeah.
even WCW created a storyline with the NWO, and it's these grown men wearing bandanas and acting like basically gangsters, and they're wrestlers. They're walking around spray painting people's backs with NWO.
I never even thought, because I loved wrestling growing up, and I love NWO. I love freaking the Wolfpack too. I like it, just all of it, just amazing. So, but I never thought about the hip hop image thing. I had never considered that was the reason why they had chosen that path.
Yeah,
that makes total sense. And then I was into it because I loved Slim Shady, and I was into like Dr. Dre, Juvenile. I was into so much like
Juvenile.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Couldn't
crazy.
deny the No Limit Soldiers at the time. I was just so into that at the time.
Speaking of the No Limit Soldiers, they were on WCW Nitro.
So there you go. Like that's direct influence right there. But I didn't even think about that. So like X-Pac, I never thought he'd be he's supposed to be a hip hop wrestler.
So X-Pac was actually, he wasn't in the NWO, but he wasn't in the NWO as X-Pac. He was in the NWO as Six, S-I-X-X.
Oh, that's right.
Because NWO was created in WCW, and it was created by Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan. The premise was that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash left WWF and they came over to WCW. The storyline was that they were invading WCW as the Outsiders, and they were known as the Outsiders. And they were talking about how they had a third man, and the third man was Hulk Hogan, and that's how the NWO came to be. And the theme was just going to be these hip-hop, brash guys. And X-Pac was part of them as Six, but Eric Bischoff fired him, so he went back to the WWF. Now get this. So we know D-Generation X, right?
Yep.
D-Generation X was the
of,
answer to NWO, because NWO essentially changed wrestling. I know we're getting into wrestling here, but NWO essentially changed wrestling. When the NWO was created, everything changed. The WWF saw that because they were having the Monday Night Wars, Raw versus Nitro, and Vince McMahon noticed that when the NWO was created, Nitro took off, and he needed an answer to that, so he created D-Generation X.
So all from hip hop sparked NWO sparked D-Generation X ran. You know, would love to talk about that is Mari. Mari would love to talk about this all day long.
Yeah. Mari, I think he still watches wrestling to this day.
To this day, yeah. Also, I'm still debating taking pro wrestling classes.
Really?
Because I've been doing the stunts. If anybody doesn't know, at Gabraham Thinking, you can check us out. Our Hot Studios, Our Hot Orphan Brotherhood. Anything you look up with that is going to be our stunt team. And so I've been doing stunts and kung fu and all that. It just makes me, I love wrestling. I like acting. Why not do some pro wrestling and practice? I can do
cool.
A lot of acrobatic stuff. I can move really swiftly. So most of the time the classes are really simple for like basic learning how to fall. I already know how to look like I got smashed in the face with a bat, kicked off of a truck from the stunt team. I don't need that training. I already know how to do all that. So I just need to learn how to like do a whole set and just look like a freaking wrestler, you know, to like
I think that would
polish
be
it up.
amazing.
Wouldn't it be tight?
I think you need to put on about 50 pounds worth of muscle if you really want to be into it.
Yeah, but then if you think about all the wrestlers who's like, I'm trying to think.
Rey Mysterio, you know.
Rey Mysterio, yeah, but he
was
looks
small,
buff. You're right, he
but
looks
does
buff.
look buff.
But there was a few
Kidman.
that, like the trashier wrestlers that would wear more like of a. I'm trying to think. I forget his name. It was in WWF, and I know we're going way far, but he used to write "Help Me" backwards on his head, and he used to do all the freaking hardcore
Mankind?
matches. No, it wasn't Mankind, but he was like midweight.
Oh.
Anyways, he was
I know who you're
acrobatic,
talking about.
and he'd move around really swiftly, but he didn't really have the prettiest
He had
body.
a head of a doll, right?
That
Of a
guy.
mannequin.
Yeah. So things. I mean, I think I could get away with it, but you're
Sorry,
right.
guys.
I think if I'm gonna take my shirt off, no, people need to see some muscles. Period. That's what you're
Yeah.
saying.
And talking about the whole choreography of it and people saying it's fake, it's not fake, because when you're jumping
hell
off
no.
the ropes and you're landing, you're hurting your back.
Dude.
Almost 100% of them have back problems.
We're talking about like when you get into the pro status, we're talking about big people. It's not just
Yeah.
like you and me who are 5'6", 5'8". We're talking about like people who are 6'5", 250, 300
Yeah.
pounds jumping and throwing each other.
Yeah.
That takes acrobatics,
You know-
that takes skill, and it takes a lot of bodily kinesthetic energy and knowledge and intelligence to do all of that. So yeah, F anybody who says that shit's fake. I don't
Yeah.
care. Let's move on before we get kind of talking about a whole new wrestling
It'll be a
category.
wrestling podcast.
So I'll bring up some of the artists I want to talk about. For sure, there's a couple we listen to, but I'll bring up. Do you listen to Amine at all?
No, I have to.
Amine is great. Amine, for one, anybody not listening to Amine, listen to anything by Amine. Listen to his hits, whatever. He has a lot of good songs, but he also, everything I've listened to him is just good. It's quality. He's an artist who started not as an artist or a musician. He just started as a college student, didn't work out for him, started making music, made it big. But he has his new album, Limbo. And bro, I have to say, it is so fire. Like, every song on the album is good, but there are some very specific ones that are just really good. Like there's one called Woodlawn, and it's just like came a long way from that Woodlawn part. And I think he's just talking about where he came from. He even seems like he's talking to somebody in jail. He's like playing all my shit through my phone. He told me keep my feet up on the necks for the throne. You ain't really on to all you people on. I told him keep your head up, I'll be set up, or keep your head up, you'll be set up when you're home. So I think he's talking to somebody in jail. I'm not sure on that. Album is fire. He also has a song called Mama that's just like a really, really good tune. But what I really like about Amine, whether he's doing a dope song or not, like he has a song called Shimmy, and it's like a ode to ODB.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sorry to cut you off, but he looks like ODB's illegitimate child. Yeah, I'm looking at pictures
with
of
his
him.
dreads and stuff. Yeah, so he has that song, and no matter if he's going lyrical or not, he has a way of being poppy. Like he is very catchy, no matter what.
Okay.
Just like how I feel another artist I was gonna mention. Have you listened to Chance the Rapper's The Big Day album?
No, but I like Chance. Yeah.
Okay. Because Chance isn't what he used to be. You know, when he first started, he was hungry, and I think when he did acid rap, it was something just magical going on maybe in his life and with his manager and how it all came about. I think that's why acid rap is so good. The choice of the mixtape is really good too. Like it was from, I think he said he got it from Peter Cottontail, and he just made that album. But then I think progressively Chance has done okay, even though he's won Grammys in his previous album before The Big Day. The third, I think the album's called 3 or something like that. Coloring Book, that's the one. Anyways, even though he's won a Grammy on that one, I feel like he wasn't going as hard as he used to.
Okay.
I've listened to this new one, The Big Day, since it came out, and it's just so good. It's just good music, and I think he's not really trying to like kill
Does it have
it.
a gospel feel?
Not as much as that Coloring Book one.
Okay.
It's still got gospel feel because he's just kind of going in that direction. But I have to say he does come on a more lyrical tip on some of the songs. Overall, it's very positive, and he's just dope, man. Like Chance, no matter what, he still kills it.
Yeah.
You know?
Talking about mixtapes, and it's interesting to see how in this generation artists become big off a mixtape.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you know, people really credit 50 Cent for originating the modern mixtape because back then it really wasn't called a mixtape. It was called a demo. Check out my demo.
Yeah.
And the idea of a mixtape didn't really exist. 50 Cent is credited for creating
For reals? Like,
the modern.
he's the one?
Yeah, his.
Wow.
I believe it's called "Teach You How to Rob."
Mm-hmm.
It's his mixtape. The thing is that he gave it out for free, and he grew so big off of that he could basically leverage his career, and that's basically how the mixtape was born. Lil Wayne is also credited
Glad you brought
for
him up.
popularizing the mixtape.
Yeah.
His dedication, No Ceiling mixtapes, T.I. as well. But I mean, Lil Wayne, his mixtapes, I believe, are basically the best mixtapes.
I was just the other day driving somewhere in the morning and Run This Town off No Ceilings came on, and I was like, man, not only does it take me back, so I think part of it's nostalgic for me, but it's just some of the things he does are normal now. And I think a lot of people gave him so much crap, and I was part of that. I have to say, you were the only person who actually turned me on to Lil Wayne, and it probably took you years to just keep playing it, and I finally came around. But people have given him so much shit for just being himself, being creative in his way, and now so many rappers rap just like him, and that's just the normal way to rap. That's not even to consider like, oh, Lil Wayne started that. No, that's just the way you rap to most people. They don't even realize like he's the way, that simple style, a simple way of just consistently hitting the same alliteration throughout the whole verse, saying the N-word after every single line, all of that stuff. I think he's killed it.
And to finish the whole mixtape idea, one of my examples, I don't know if you listen to A$AP Rocky.
I like A$AP Rocky. I don't listen to him consistently, but I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
He's amazing.
Dope, bro.
Yeah, he's great.
I don't care what anybody says. He's so tight.
Yeah, his first mixtape, he got a either nationwide or worldwide tour off of it.
He got a nationwide tour?
Yeah, off a mixtape. And he's quoted saying that to think that all of this started off a mixtape. And, people could really grow popular off a mixtape.
I hope so, man, because I've been putting out tape after tape that's all original content. So shit, it's like one day I hope to get noticed. But, yeah, people just hop on a mixtape and they get... Yeah,
man, and that could change you.
So I'll bring up an artist we both like so we can just talk about it. Schoolboy Q.
Yeah.
He definitely put out his album last year, Crash Talk. I bought that shit on vinyl. Like, it's a clear yellow vinyl. Bro, it's so tight of an album. I know you know. It's just... It's just every song has its own flavor to it, even though it's still Schoolboy Q.
Yeah, I know. And it really keeps a great theme, a great rhythm. My favorite song off the album, I believe it's Black Folks.
Black Folks, yeah. Black Folks is dope.
I mean, I feel terrible that I'm drawing a blank here, but yeah, I mean,
I like that song a lot too. I like Num Num Juice. I like Water. I think Water has the best feature.
Yeah.
I forget who's on it. Check on that right now, but
I believe it's.
But anyway, I think that's the best feature. The way
Lil
it comes
Baby?
in, yeah, the way it drops, it's like zoom. It has that bass drop right before Lil Baby comes in.
Yeah,
and
it's
just dope. Like, I think that was a really good feature. Also, I like the way that the verse goes.
And the way it starts off with Gang Gang, I mean, and goes into Tails. I would have never imagined that it's gonna go into Tails.
Yeah, I wouldn't. The way it goes right into it, right?
Into it, I mean,
me and you miss shit like that. That's some Pink Floyd shit. That's like, and some old, like, I miss when albums just consistently flowed. You didn't know when it started or when it stopped. It almost felt like you had to study the album to know when parts were.
Yeah,
I miss that.
And I mean, he did a really great job with this. You can tell that he put a lot of work into it. I think that he probably, the way I can just is that he really put his soul into it. You can really tell. I mean, and so Chopsticks,
I mean, I like it after I hear the hook, because I don't like pop. I just don't like songs you might hear on the radio. I don't know why I'm lame like that, but
You know, I haven't listened to the radio in so long,
I
man.
hate it. I just hate it. I'm not even gonna talk
Yeah.
about why I hate it because I'll go on forever.
I can
But-
see that, man.
I try to listen to it just to know what is being played because I like to hear what is being heard consistently, and then it just bugs me, so I don't even go into it. And then when I talk with people like you or other people, I find out, okay, not everybody else is weird. Listening to this Vegas radio that makes no sense.
No, it's been the same radio, 97.5, 98.5 for anybody who's local. It's been the same radio for the last, since I was in high school,
Yeah.
middle school. But one artist that I want to bring up that I
Wait, hold
didn't
on.
bring
Before we
up-
go off of Schoolboy Q, one thing I want to bring up because I know you want to bring up a new artist. Num Num Juice. That song. If anybody doesn't know, I highly suggest looking up the artist Lacutis. Laquutis. Lacutis. And I believe his name, people told me it comes from Star Trek or something like that. I don't know. I'm not going to even say what it comes from. But Homeboy makes so many movie references. One very simple line, he says, "Now she wants to spoon like Jewish Eddie with the soup." To me, I was done because I love movies. I love Coming to America. He's talking about the ending when he tells the joke about the soup. Now she wants to spoon like Jewish Eddie with the soup. That was so fire to me. And that's off his Three Seashells mixtape, which is 3 seashells from Demolition Man, which is the 3 seashells that nobody knows how to wipe their butt when you go into the future. They say you got to use the 3 seashells. So his album is the thing that nobody knows how to use. He never tell you how to use. And I feel like that is an ode. I don't know. His whole style is like that. But if you listen to Num Num Juice and you listen to Lacutis, I feel like Schoolboy Q got some influence from that fool.
Okay.
I swear to God. Because
Did
it's
you ever
just like
bring him up?
Huh?
Did you ever bring him up? Does Schoolboy
Never.
Q ever bring him up?
He never
No?
brought him up, but Lacutis is not very known. He worked with Das Racist, Cool AD, if you know any of those artists. And he's Mr. Motherfucking Esquire. He's worked with him. He's dope. I think he's out of Detroit. But he's one of those dudes who just pops in, pops out, because he's just probably a real dope.
You know,
head,
it's interesting. I'm always trying to message you about any artist or any music, and these are people that I've missed, and the reason I'm bringing it up because I pride myself on being current on any type of music.
But this is from a few years ago. Lacutis' Three Seashells, I think, was 2014 or something. But I've been listening to I still think that's the style he was on, man. Like, you can hear it nowadays, and I think Schoolboy Q picked it up.
Have you listened
who is
to
that artist?
Goldlink?
Who?
Goldlink? Have you listened to Goldlink?
Never even heard of him.
He's a good artist. He hasn't been really pushed a lot, but one of his songs, what's it called?
Was that the dude you're gonna bring up right now? Just a second
No,
ago?
actually,
That's a different artist?
the artist I was gonna bring up is 2 Chainz.
Oh,
I know everybody loves,
okay,
everybody
2
knows 2 Chainz. I don't know if everybody loves 2 Chainz, and I know he really hasn't been too mainstream right now, but I love 2 Chainz.
Do you?
I really love 2 Chainz.
I've never listened to any of his albums, but everything
Okay.
I've ever heard from 2 Chainz that comes on the radio, his features, everything, for fire. And it's only say that because it's got such a funny style to it. You know, like...
Yeah. No, and he's got a really great flow. I think he has really great beat selection.
He's like, by standing on my bankroll and his ad libs. Stand on your bankroll.
Yeah, his
Then I'll be scared of
ad-libs.
heights. Like, I don't even care about money. I don't care about bankrolls, but his style is just so silly and so fun.
Yeah,
like,
he's got a really great creative style. I've listened to, I believe, all of his mixtapes. I don't know if I'm missing any, but one of my favorite ones is Daniel's Son. Daniel's Son, Necklace Dawn. So,
wait, hold on. Daniel San is the name of the artist?
No, 2 Chainz is
2 Chainz, okay,
that's
okay.
his mixtape. Daniel
called
San,
Daniel San.
Necklace Dawn. And
Necklace
this is the
Dawn.
cover. It's him.
What the hell? Hold on, let me see
Daniel
this.
San. That's
All
what I
right.
really like about
It's like
him.
a samurai version of
It's like the
Avatar
Karate Kid.
Samurai him.
Daniel San. Daniel San
Oh,
from the
okay,
Karate, Kid.
Kid. And he's him as Karate Kid. I got you. Daniel San.
The Necklace Dawn. And that's what I
I'm
love.
saying.
That's
He's
why I
so
love 2 Chainz.
playful,
so much.
bro.
And his lyrics, he's got really great beat selections.
Okay.
And lastly, the other artist that I wanted to bring up, which actually really gives me a lot of pride and joy to bring this artist up is Jim Jones, because I think he was really underused when he was part of the Dipset, because Cameron and Joel Santana stood out so much, and Jim Jones, he wasn't too lyrical when he was a part of the Dipset. Well, I'm sure he's still a part of the Dipset, but when they were putting out
I don't know
music,
nothing about it, so I don't know.
yeah. So
Jim Jones.
he
why
came
are you
out.
bringing him up though? Has he got music out?
Yeah, no, not this year, but he recently put out 2 albums that, I mean, they really show how much he has grown, and they are just great albums. I mean,
Okay.
I'm going to show you right now the cover of one of them. So the most recent album that he put out was El Capo, and that album is just great from beginning to end. You don't really have to skip any songs. And
I don't even think I've ever listened to Dipset or anything, so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. So, El Capo is the one that he just put out.
El Capo.
And then before that, the one that made him stand out more was Wasted Talent. So when he put out Wasted Talent, you can see his growth. And the cool thing is that he stayed with the Heatmakers. The Heatmakers are the ones that made the beats for the Dipset. So, you know, it just gives me a lot of joy to see his growth.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, Cameron and Joel Santana, they're great artists, but the fact that they were so popular made him not stand out as much. And now that he's put music out on his own, I mean, and I want to show you the cover to Wasted Talent. This is how New York he is. He's on a bicycle, counting money, wearing a long coat. Look at that. Look how New York that album cover is. And it's really good. And you know, guys, I wish we could play you all this music, but YouTube, they just have such a strict algorithm that they
go
would
over and go on Dat Piff?
they would copyright strike us if we would play this for them.
Oh, you're saying we played the music? Yeah, we couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, even Joe Rogan can't play any music, and I mean, but yeah, Jim Jones, listen to him, guys.
Another artist, I forgot to mention about Schoolboy Q, his collaboration with Gorillaz. That came out, because that is just the most firest single I've ever heard in my life. Because I mentioned it in the last episode, but basically everybody who collaborates with Gorillaz changes their style up in some way.
Yeah.
Tries to fit to the Gorillaz style. The only person I think who never did that was Del the Funky Homo Sapien, but it's because he was already Del, like Gorillaz wasn't a thing yet, so there was no vibe to fit into. He worked with Dan the Ottoman, or the Automator, and that's how that all got set up. But then Gorillaz has always changed. De La Soul, it's changed.
Schoolboy Q,
Doom, Mos Def.
Def.
Everybody's kind of switched up. Vince Staples,
and
then
Snoop Dogg.
Schoolboy Q hops on this bitch, keeps it hood as hell. Keeps it the same way he would just rap on his own tracks, and talks about the same shit. And there's even an episode where they are on the phone with Gorillaz, and he explains, like, I just kept it real. Like, I talked about the same shit I talk about in my songs, and, you know, where I came from. And it's pretty much just selling drugs and being hood. And I think that's the tightest shit to talk about on a Gorillaz track, you know? So. And
speaking about Schoolboy Q and Top Dog, do you think Kendrick is going to put out any music soon?
Bruh, Kendrick's so fire, I don't care. If he does or doesn't, he's already done enough. He can never do. He's like Anderson Silva of fucking hip hop, bruh. Like, cause I don't look up to anybody in the modern world like that. Yeah. And I think Kendrick is one of those people who has fucking transcended this world to where I didn't really like Damn that much. Everybody thinks it's like critically acclaimed. It's the best album he's put out, but I don't agree because of How to Pimp a Butterfly is just amazing to me. Yeah. But point being is Kendrick is just so incredible. I hope he puts anything out, 1 song, 2 songs, a whole album. I don't care. I'll listen to it. I'll buy it because I'm a huge fan.
And the other artists from.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. Have you listened to D Smoke?
No.
Bruh, D Smoke's like the new rapper. I believe that they have
From Top
for
Dog?
from TDE. He's a teacher.
He's a teacher.
He's a teacher. Yeah, he was a teacher, I believe, in Compton. And I don't want to get this word backwards, so I'm gonna look it up. But I believe he's a teacher, and he won a contest that was a part of a TV show. And from that, he got with TDE, and that's how he started putting out his music.
What about J-Rock? Have you listened to Redemption?
I didn't listen to the album, but J-Rock's fucking fire. Everybody sleeps on him.
So J-Rock's Redemption album is similar to Schoolboy Q's Crash Talk.
Mm-hmm.
How they both, it's their like magnum opus, you know? How they both just poured their heart and soul into these both. How Schoolboy Q poured his heart and soul into Crash Talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically how J-Rock did this one. And
Okay.
Wow Freestyle is a song which Kendrick is featured on. It's probably one of the best songs on that album.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And
Okay.
what's
Wait a minute.
cool is that
it's just Kendrick and J-Rock. I'm sure I've heard it because Monica's such a huge fan. She plays everything from TDE.
yeah. So yeah, listen to Redemption from J-Rock.
Okay.
I think he's a really great artist. Run the Jewels.
Run the Jewels is here and there, you know. I just want to clarify, Inglewood is where D-Smoke teaches. He taught at Inglewood High School. He won a contest on the Netflix show Rhythm and Flow.
What does he teach?
He taught Spanish.
Spanish.
A black dude who teaches Spanish. I know, and he
he's-
raps in Spanish. He raps in Spanish on his tracks too.
But is he a Mexican? Is he Latin?
I don't know, dude. That's where I gotta find out some more info. But I definitely know his music's dope. It's TDE quality, so it's always like a dope, jazzy, funky vibe to it. And then he's kind of got he kind of sounds Kendrick-ish, but he's dope. But anyways, Run the Jewels. Let's just Run the Jewels is dope. It's Killer Mike and LP are two MCs that are unfuckwittable. LP is so slept on. I believe he was in Company Flow back in '93. Like old
man.
head, meaning he's been doing this for too long.
He's just on another level.
You know? But Run the Jewels doesn't catch me because it's just, I don't know. It's something me and Mari talked about. New hip hop that sounds like older hip hop kind of just doesn't catch our attention. And another artist that's like that is Czarface, which is Inspected Deck, 7L, and Esoteric. And I love it because it's, but at the same time, I hate it. I love them.
Listen to them
because the beats are so fire, but like the lyrics aren't necessarily there. And then with Run the Jewels, it's kind of the opposite. It's like the lyrics are there, but the vibe and the beats don't always flow for me.
Really, I love all of their beats, and
That's
I really
the
don't
thing.
get a
I don't know.
old school feel off them.
No, well, maybe
That's
it's
so
just going for
crazy.
the old school feel. It has, I don't know, and then that's something of me where I
That's crazy, bro, because I don't get a hint of old school off
Okay.
them. I get like basically ahead of their time. They're like probably 5 years ahead of their time with the
which
music.
album? Because don't they have 3 now?
Four.
Four.
RTJ 4 has come out.
And that's a sucks when you don't keep up.
And
It's
2
like now
Chainz is on
I'm 4
RTJ
behind.
4.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I know that their single from RTJ 3 was part of the Black Panther trailer,
Okay.
which made it more popular. But I mean, RTJ 3, if you listen to RTJ 3, I think it's I don't get any old school.
All right, I'll take a listen to it.
Like, it's called
'Cause-
Legend Has It off RTJ 3. Legend Has It. Yeah, I mean,
Because like the
no, talk to me. Sorry.
well, like the Czarface, for example, they have Czarface 1, 2, and 3, and then they also have Czarface MF Doom, Czarface Ghostface, and it's like that's 5 albums of just dope beats that like the beats change every so often, so it's almost like you're getting 3 beats per beat or per song. It's just so much goodness, but then I feel like the raps don't really fit. Like, I don't know, MF Doom to me is one of the only rappers that's still consistent, can still put out something that sounds old school, new school, anything,
Yeah.
and it just sounds like that's fire. He
Okay.
still has something to say. Or something to do where he's not pushing it too far, but he's also not, like, falling behind. You know what I'm saying?
A little side note on MF Doom. I used to work at Michael Kors, and there was this girl there really beautiful Latin girl, and I was in the back. I was selling a bag to some clients, and in the back, one of the stock guys, he was playing MF Doom, and he was playing a song off of, I believe, his first mixtape. Anyways, she said, "What is this? It's terrible." Immediately, she became unattractive when she just said, "What is this song?"
Oh, that is too funny right
And
there.
every time I remember MF Doom, I think about her because, I mean, everybody
Like less
just
attractive
drooled
now.
over her. But when she went in the back and said, "What is this song? It's terrible,"
That is hilarious.
it's like my dick went limp.
Oh, that's
Oh,
too
sorry.
funny. All right, so another artist I wanted to bring up before we move on to someone else you were going to talk about was have you listened to Brockhampton?
No, see,
So-
this is the list of people I've got to listen
Man,
to.
Brockhampton has their newest album was Ginger in 2019, but they're a group of people, and I believe I heard they met in a Kanye forum, and they became a group from that, and that's how they started making music. I freaking love Brockhampton. They have some weird tracks because
They're a group?
Yeah, it's like 5 MCs. I don't even know because I know they have hidden members, and they're like one of those groups, kind of like Odd Future, that just like a big, huge collaboration of
I don't even
artists.
think God Future's a group anymore.
Man, dude, but Brock is dope. If you get a chance,
Brockhampton,
just listen to
huh?
them. Yeah, because they have some really good tracks that sound super like R&B-ish, other tracks that sound like crazy dope party music, and they're all over the place. And I think it's because they're just a collaborative group. But you'd like them for sure because they're a new age style, but they got definitely a hold on the old school.
I'm gonna listen to them.
Another artist that you wanted to bring up, because I know you have a lot to say about him, was Travis Scott.
Yeah, I mean, but one thing I wanted to bring up really quick, you brought up Kanye West, and I know that you really like Big Sean, but
Yeah, he's got a new album out too.
I need to listen to it. But did you hear the news about how much he was being paid when he signed to Good Music?
No, I have no idea.
I think he got paid like $15,000. That's it.
That's it?
For like the first a few projects he put out.
Terrible.
That's terrible, man.
I personally think Big Sean is very underrated.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has to do with anything like, because I think there's so many secrets behind in the industry that we don't know why artists are popular or not.
Yeah.
And Big Sean definitely has some of his like features on some of the biggest songs. His verses were more influential than the other artists that were on that track. And like for example, Mercy, I believe he's on that track with freaking Kanye.
Yeah.
The song is great, but I don't care for anyone else's verses besides Big Sean's.
Yeah, and I think he actually was really good on the Control verse.
Same thing, Control. And then everybody blew Kendrick up because he just name dropped everybody in the world. But
yeah,
I just feel in general, Big Sean
the
is
other
fire.
guy at the end? I mean, poor guy.
No,
Nobody cared about
and that's
his
another
verse.
thing. Forget that. Who do you poor guy? That's Jay Electronica. Bro.
I know
you
it's
better
Jay
chill.
Electronica, but
Like,
I mean, if you look
I know
at
what
Jay
you mean, though,
Electronica's
yeah.
career, it took him so long. At the beginning, he was amazing, and it took him so long to put out his album that everybody wanted him to put out. I forgot the name of it.
I
That they
don't
just
even
grew
know.
tired of him. But go ahead.
Somebody said about Jay Electronica, like, how are you going to be famous off of 3 songs? I just laughed my ass off because it's funny. Yeah, you're right. Like, I've played the same 3 or 4 songs from him, and I think
Because
he's
he hasn't
the
put out
greatest.
any new music. He fell in love with this
He's a
like
poet, bro.
Arabian princess.
Anyways,
Go ahead.
Big Sean 2088, it's another project he did with Janae Aiko,
Mm-hmm.
and people sleep on that, but it's like a really dope R&B-ish collaboration with a rapper and an R&B artist, and I just don't think people take stuff like that as seriously nowadays, and it was dope. I think it was in 2013, 2014, maybe a little later, but
Do you like Detroit? The
Uh,
Detroit mixtape?
I don't even think I heard it.
You haven't listened to the Detroit mixtape from Big Sean?
I don't think so, no.
You gotta listen to it, dog.
I
great
feel
mixtape.
stupid saying how much I love him, and then you mention one thing.
Gotta
and
listen to it, dog.
I haven't listened to it.
Okay, Travis Scott. Yeah, man, I really like Travis Scott. I think Travis Scott is amazing. I know a lot of people are indifferent about him, maybe, or they either really like him or they don't. But I just really like Travis Scott because he's very, very, I guess, within just the mainstream community of artists, he's really different from them. One thing that I really like specifically is that he doesn't use, on a lot of his songs, his transitions are amazing. He'll go from one beat to another. He has his song with Schoolboy Q.
Okay.
And All Right. It's really good.
Wait, whose album is that on? On his?
On Rodeo, yeah.
Okay, because I was like, I haven't heard that, and I love Schoolboy Q.
And I mean, he just really uses different beats that you wouldn't really think are from like a standard or I guess, you know, known hip hop beat. They're really different. It's really hard to describe it, but yeah, he's great. I mean, Travis Scott, I mean, the reason he deserves
he's
the fame
the one
he
on
has.
that song, right? Chopsticks?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Schoolboy Q. Okay. So, I can't say anything about him because everything that I've looked up from him and anytime you've suggested to play him, I can't say... I haven't had anything specific to look at. It's just I'll go look at whatever's
I should have
popular.
gave you a specific
Yeah,
song.
because then it's just like I've not heard anything I really enjoy. And the style is not something that's intriguing to me. And then, there's catchy songs that he's on, and he's always on something like Chopsticks with Schoolboy Q, and
Yeah.
he just happens to be on that one tune that's like, I don't want to listen to this. But I'm not saying he's a bad artist, so I need to give him a listen. I'm not saying anything about him yet.
And it's maybe the time. One thing I do want to say with all this music and everything that people listen to, it's what you're going through at that time in your life.
I
how you
that
can
too, a
relate
lot
with
too.
that. You
Yeah.
know, I would listen to Travis Scott on my way to work or coming home from work at night, driving on the freeway. You know, and that it just really grew on me. You know, a lot of songs grow on you on the freeway. But go ahead.
Naturally, right? The last artist that you had brought up was Denzel Curry.
Yeah, Denzel Curry's cool. Yeah.
What do you specifically like about him?
I like his raw personality, his raw approach. Like I said, he really reminds me of Gravediggers, like a modern, like a West Coast Gravediggers.
That's so fire.
And I played you a quick song, and
I loved it. Yeah. Because I heard that song, I Am the One They Call Son. I don't know the name of it, but that track that was really famous. When he was on tour, he was touring with a hardcore band. And it's like the music style, if anybody doesn't know hardcore music, it's beyond punk music to me. Like it's a different energy of like, and to be honest, because of friends that I have in hardcore scene, when I played hardcore shows and when I would like be at a hardcore show and I do hip hop music and I'd rap, their support and their energy is like uplifting because they care about your message. And so if you have something to really say, especially because if you really listen to hardcore music, it's always about straight edge, animal rights, politics. It's always about equality. You don't really hear angry hardcore music about negative shit. It's always about something about enlightening the world to be better. And that's why they're so freaking mad. That's their outlet. And that's why when you meet a hardcore band member, they're always like, hi, how are you doing? Nice to meet you, guy. Let's go eat some vegan food.
Yeah, hardcore, they're mad. They're like the musical version of PETA. They'll throw paint on your mink.
Well, I feel like it's just their passion. And then when they're off the stage, they're normal and nice. It's just... that's the only time they can say all that shit. But anyways, point being, you see, he traveled with bands like that, and I felt like that possibly, one, says a lot about who he is character-wise, and two, the style of music has that much energy. It can arouse that type of attention, and it's like... so I have to say, without even listening to his music, just hearing things like that, I already fucks with him.
Yeah.
And then what you played was dope.
Yeah. Did you like that?
Yeah.
That was cool,
and
man.
I agree. I mean, I have to listen more to say the modern Gravediggers thing, but... I like artists that push it, and I still listen to Gravediggers because they have so many things that are like just beyond their time period. Like I was listening to a track on their second album, and freaking Too Poetic. What's his name that he goes by? The Grim Reaper. Mm-hmm. He says, "I defeat crews with parametric EQs," and A parametric EQ is just an equalizer. It's just something used in the studio. But everybody nowadays knows that shit because they're in a studio. They own a studio. They got a boy who has a studio. They've been to a studio. They rented time in a studio. They watched fucking what's that show with P Diddy that he had?
Making the Band
a million times.
Y'all gotta go to the Bronx.
They just heard enough of this terminology to know what that shit is in 2020. He said that shit in 1997, homie.
Man.
And he's a rapper. You know, he's not some businessman. He's not a sound person. He just knows that from making music. And I feel like it's fire. Still to this day relevant. Still to this day fire.
Man, yeah. You know,
Period.
Well, one thing that I think when it comes to hip hop changing and becoming and going on the road that it went down to get to this position is obviously after Biggie and Tupac's death. So if they would have stayed alive, I think obviously hip hop would have gone in a different direction, especially Tupac, because he really
you think that made a big difference? Keep going, sorry.
I really do.
Yeah, okay.
Because, so when Tupac and Biggie were at the height of their careers, and they were only 25 years old.
Damn, that's crazy.
Can you believe
30
that
now.
when they died? You know that?
Yeah.
You know, we're 30, shit. Bro.
Yeah.
And they were 25, and I felt to me like they were damn near 40. I don't know.
Like they were grown-ass men.
Grown-ass men, right? You know?
Yeah. They're just kids.
They were just kids, man. And
which is majority of hip hop.
Exactly. And Tupac, he really had a lot to say. So I really know that he would have had a lot of influence on where hip hop went. Biggie probably not as much. But the reason I say, and not because he wasn't influential, but I think he probably would have just let it go on its own. I think Tupac would have really driven where hip hop went because he just because of his passion.
Yeah.
But
no, I think I agree because he fit in with the times anyways of what was going on, and then just shit that's happening nowadays. Tupac is still relevant because of what the shit he brings up in his music is the same shit that's still going on.
Yeah,
you know. So I agree. I feel like he would have consistently been that and drove the direction of what people talk about.
Yeah,
but he already kind of did. I mean, that's why Kendrick is Kendrick, and that's why he said he has so much influence from Tupac, and it came from just still keeping on the positive message and talking about coming from this shitty place and changing how people's perspectives are, and
which in a way you might think how it's actually amazing that Tupac's influence made it all the way to this time. The reason I bring it up,
that shit's real, bro,
is because
it's real.
Well, I understand that, but the reason I bring that up, and I know it's always going to make it, but the reason I bring it up is because when they both passed away, the only artist that was relevant enough and big enough to take the torch and move forward was Jay-Z. And
you know, I've thought about Jay-Z recently. Go ahead.
And the single that came out after they passed away was Big Pimpin' with UGK. And that single,
I feel like that changed hip hop. I agree. That's crazy you brought that shit up because
it was platinum changed.
That changed the image. It changed the vibe. It changed the music, the styles, going into the Caribbean sounds and all that. And I feel it honestly did affect the way people what they wanted to hear. That was club music. That was like the evolution of it. And then I totally agree.
So if they would have never passed away, maybe a single that Biggie would have had or Tupac would have had would have overshadowed or been bigger than Big Pimpin', or maybe Jay-Z would have never dropped Big Pimpin', you know? So
it would have been a flop.
Yeah. So
because I agree, because you know what I listen to a lot is Big L. And everybody knows, if anybody's ever listened to Big L, he was like the godfather of fucking Jay-Z at the time, and Jay-Z was almost scared to live out of his shadow, you know. And I feel like Big L was influencing the real time at the time, you know, and he was talking just like big and heavy, like he'd just say shit on the fucking radio, and then go out and be a real gangster on the street, and that type of stuff is like as relevant any day nowadays, because you can't really do that. You got PR people trying to keep you in line, and that's how you keep your image.
You got
don't
your
give
own
a fuck
fans.
about that stuff.
Your
huh?
own fans keep you in line because
That
they'll
too,
cancel
yeah.
you.
Exactly, yeah. And so there's so much of a different way of doing things. Big L was influencing a lot. Jay-Z was there. And then when Jay-Z went off on his own, I feel like, man, imagine if Big L was still around.
Exactly,
Would
yeah.
Would Jay-Z have been anything? Would
Yeah.
Big L have continued on to continue to just be lyrical, dope, and gangster all at the same time? Because to me, that's what Freddie Gibbs is. Like, so I feel like a lot of people
Freddie
are still
Gibbs, man.
influenced by that shit, but Jay-Z is a bigger influence. And you know what Jay-Z really is about? Industry, money, and being in control
Yeah.
of where your money is coming and how it's coming into you, how it's getting paid, who's in control of your shit, and how you can control your royalties. And that type of stuff isn't what the real influence of hip-hop is.
Everybody learned that from Eazy-E.
Yeah.
Eazy was one of the original pioneers of having your own label because he never was on another label. He's created his own label, Ruthless. He off the jump, and
He's a drug dealer.
yeah, that's
I mean,
how.
that's why you got to be a hustler, bro. Anybody who's ever sold anything knows how to sell shit.
And but one of the pioneers of industry was Master P.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he was the original clothing line. His clothing line, P. Miller, that's where Jay-Z got Rockaware from.
Yeah.
Where P. Diddy got Sean John from. It was from Master P.
You know what's crazy is Wu-Tang was doing like
Woo-wear?
Yeah, Wu-Wear long before
Yeah,
that
the quality
too.
wasn't that good.
Well, no, because they did it more internationally too. But you're right, the quality was not.
Yeah,
the same.
Method Man even said he didn't wear it because the quality wasn't good.
Well, I mean, if you look at the way, with all due respect, the way Ghostface dresses, it's cool for you and all, but I can't be wearing no freaking clogs, and
Yeah.
it just don't look right to me. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wear the Wallabies. I'm sorry, bro. I
Wallaby
like
clogs
sneakers.
with no socks. Yeah. Oh man.
I'm sorry. I like
Ghostface
sneakers.
must have
I don't like
athletes,
jumpsuits,
but
I prefer me some from jeans.
I wear boots all the time now. I don't even wear Chucks, man.
Anyway, so yeah, we touched on most of everything. Anything you want to say to wrap it up?
I just hope that everything was insightful. I hope you guys just stayed on, and if not, hopefully we can just keep this entertaining. There's a word I'm looking for. I can't get it right now. But yeah,
Exciting, enticing, enlightening.
one where you keep going with us, you maintain, you keep listening.
Consistency.
There you go. We'll
Who
go
knows?
with consistency.
We'll figure that out. Anyway,
But
so
yeah, man, this is
anybody,
way better than the first episode. I'll tell you that right now. Light years. Jesus.
I want to get Mari in here. I want to get some unique perspectives on not just music, but there's a lot of cool things that we've touched base on with a couple friends. We talked about transgenderism and like not saying anyone's opposed to it or anything like that, but topics about it. And I had a friend named Marty from the Whoa, hip hop artist. I would like to hear his perspective on a lot of that because man, not only is it enlightening, it's hilarious too.
Yeah.
But anybody, this is the 36 Chambers podcast. Check us out. If you're not already following, you can check out at Gabraham Thinking, at Vegas Natives, Peace, Love Native, VegasNatives.com.
Yeah, please subscribe, hit the like button, and if you subscribe, please hit the bell. It really helps.
Yeah,
because if you don't hit the
definitely.
bell, sometimes they don't even push our videos. So, yeah, thanks guys, we really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, this is the 36 Chambers podcast. My name is Gabe.
This is Alex.
See you guys later.
I blow a bag of that Jamaica, sold my soul to the devil. Now this fool about to pay up. Rich in mind and spirit, still I'm grinding like I'm broke. Still got the bow tie Chevy, white walls and the spokes. Won't stop till I got one in every color for my folks. Coming.
I don't get it, dude. Why? Why do literally, dude? Me and my coworker, we ask people this all the time. We'll be like, "Do you like Travis Scott?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like, why? And they'll just be like, "I don't know. You're just sick." I'm like, "Why? Why do you like him so much? Like, what? Like."
Bro, man, I'm gonna have to talk to you about this. We're gonna have to have an what's it called?
Intermission?
Intermission? No, the one The one
Intervention?
intervention. I'm gonna have to have a Travis Scott intervention with you, bro.
Went back to my city straight off the California coast. Trees purple and gold like a Laker. I'm never switching teams, homie. Never take a pay cut. And ain't nobody that can fade us. 'Cause motherfucker, you now rocking with us.